Okay, this is my video for discussion 4. So, to begin, on page 257, this is the quote. How fast does energy travel, I asked, at the speed of sound, or is it more like a jetliner? Does it fly direct, or will it have to have a layover in Minneapolis? Mother laughed and hung up. So, in this part, she's using humor and sarcasm to give the reader an idea or developing of what her relationship and her mother is like. So it's just giving the reader insight of how the relationship is. So just giving the reader more information and using humor and sarcasm. My next one is page 261. It's more humor. I expressed a grin. From what I could tell, Dad was on track to become the best funded lunatic in the Mountain West. So she's using more humor and sarcasm to describe her dad and her relationship with him. She's saying that he's this crazy guy, and it just gives the reader, oh, like, this guy's kind of crazy. So just giving the reader more insight of her relationship with her family. And next up on page 281, okay, Buck's Peak. Okay, this is 1 second. On the third paragraph, Buck's Peak was unchanged. The princess was buried in snow, and I could see the deep contours of her legs. So that is personification of the mountain. It's giving it human-like descriptors, and it's just like going back to the princess and describing the mountain as if it was like a human. It just emphasizes what the mountain means to her, because she just got back from, I think it was Cambridge, I don't know, maybe it was Harvard, but she got back, and that's the first thing she talks about was the princess. So it just emphasizes the importance of the mountain to her, because that's like her whole thing about Buck's Peak. Okay, next on page, and that was Emoji too, because it's describing how the snow was and how the mountain was. Okay, next on page 283, next page, let me see what I was doing. It was crucial. Okay, so this is just like the whole page about Sean and the fight. So I'm just gonna paraphrase. So they were in a fight, and he was like, I'm going to kill Audrey, and they're in a truck, and she's really scared, so she's not talking. And then she was just so scared that she was in fear, and then all of a sudden he switches over and he says, you feel like a movie, or that's what Sean says. So she just emphasizes how crazy Sean is, and develops how he is. She further develops his character, and she kind of contrasts it, like she's in fear and she's scared of him, but then you feel like a movie, and it's just she just emphasizes his popularness, kind of like the dad. It's just kind of makes her brother seem like the dad. So it's kind of not really comparison, but you get the idea of their traits after the trip. Okay, on page 291. So this is about the call. I can't decide, he says. He paused, and I thought perhaps the connection has failed. Whether I should kill you myself or hire an assassin. There was cyclical silence. It might be cheaper to hire someone when you figure out the cost of the flight. I pretended I didn't, but this only made him more aggressive. Now he was hurling insults, snarling. Blah, blah, blah. His assassin was coming for me. So this is just like the whole phone call. I thought it could be a diatribe, like how he's just saying, I'm gonna kill you, should I hire an assassin, like he's making threats. So I was thinking it could be a diatribe. I'm not for sure on that one, but I think it's a diatribe. Like he's coming at her, and it gives the reader, oh, like when I was reading this, I could feel her fear. Like she emphasizes her, like she's so surprised that her brother's gonna kill her, but you know, it's just, you know, his tone, his all this, like this whole like page, it's like boom, because it just comes out of nowhere. So it emphasizes like her brother and how he's crazy, and it just deepens his character. Okay, next. 293, the next page. Okay, so this is about Audrey and how she was ending her relationship with Tara. She was like, no contact. So this is how my sister ended her letter, by telling me I was not welcomed in her home, or even to call her unless someone else was there on the line to supervise. To keep her from succumbing to my influence, when I read this, I laughed out loud. So I laughed out loud. Like she is just she's done with it. She's done with her family. So she's using sarcasm and more humor. Like this section of the book after part 3, there's a lot of humor and sarcasm because she's just so, like, she's done with her family. So with that humor, it just, you know, helps the reader understand that she's just done with it. So it just, yeah. She's like, okay, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. So it's just her tone. She's like, the sister's really mad. The sister is mad. I just said that, but the sister's angry with her, and then she's like, I laughed out loud. She's just done with it. So her tone is like humorous, and just, you know, there's no emotional pulse there. Okay, page 294, the next page. So this one is kind of wishy-washy, but on the bottom, page 294, my journals were a problem. I knew my memories were not memories only, but I had recorded them, and that they exist in black and white. This meant that more of my memory was in error. The delusions were deeper in the core of my mind, which invented the moment of occurrence, then recorded the fiction. In the month followed, I lived the life of a lunatic, seeing sunshine, and I suspected rain, and end quote. So in this section, or pretty much this whole chapter, she just emphasizes her craziness. Like she doesn't know if it's raining outside, even though it's sunshine. Like it's just kind of, I don't know, emphasizing. I'm using that word a lot, but it's just, she just describes her mental state. Like she knows that she's crazy, and it just helps the reader understand, like, oh, she's going through something. Like when I was reading this chapter, I was like, she's going through it. Like she is having a mental breakdown. So it's just using this type of writing helps the reader understand that she is going through something and what emotional state that she's in. And page 300, chapter 36. Okay, it's in the middle. My father and I looked at the temple. He saw God, I saw granite. We looked at each other. He saw woman damned. I saw an unhinged old man, literally disfigured by his beliefs. And yet trumpet, I remember the words of Central Press. So I'm just, the comparison between her and her dad, like, is just contrasting. Like he is a religious person and she's steering away from that. And it's the temple, and like the dad sees this, oh, it's this holy place, and it's like amazing. And she's just like, oh, it's a temple, rocks. So it's just comparison, and it helps the reader understand that she's shifting away towards her religion, or so away from her religion, and the dad is trying to switch her back. So, and it's kind of a little bit of repetition because first he talks about the god versus granite. He just saw her, and she saw a crazy man. So it's just kind of a repetition of what they see and how they feel. So it just helps the reader, like, oh, her dad's crazy and she's not, you know. Page 307, chapter 37. Okay, so it's in the middle. Well, it's kind of the whole page, actually. So, I'm starting, okay. I'm fine, you think. So what if I watched TV for 24 hours straight yesterday? I am not falling apart. I'm just lazy. I'm not sure. So, it's just like a lot of repetition of I'm. And it kind of, anaphora, I don't like anaphora. Yeah, okay, so the repetition of I in the beginning of each sentence emphasizes, you know, how crazy she's been. She's like, so what if? Or, I'm just lazy, I'm not falling apart. It's just the repetition of I'm blank. It just helps the reader understand that she's going crazy. And she just, her tone is like whack. And it develops her mental state even more because she already mentioned, or she didn't, she just alluded to it, that she's been going crazy, and now she's, you know, committing to it. She's like, I'm just lazy. And she's kind of in denial now, so it just helps the reader understand what her mental state is right now. Okay, next page. I have 312. I'm not gonna do that one, actually. Okay, 313, actually. Okay, so it's about the letter. Soon after I sent the letter to my father, I'm not proud of that letter. It's full of rage. A fractious child screaming, I hate you, at a parents, filled with words like thug and tyrant. And it goes on for pages of torrent, frustration, and abuse. So, even though she didn't really mention of what's exactly in the letter, I thought the letter could be a diatribe. Like, if she's, you know, informed us of what's in the letter, it could be a diatribe. So, like, using those words like thug and tyrant, you could assume it's a diatribe. And it just helps the reader know of her tone, like her tone in the letter, and what she described it to be develops her relationship with her father, how it's changing, and how she's so mad at him, and it just helps the reader understand that, oh, she's done with him completely. So, yeah. Oh, I gotta hurry up. Okay, we're gonna skip. I got a couple more, but I'm going to page 320. I'm running out of time. So, this is, I'll just read it first. So, the middle page of 320. The princess was bright as I ever seen her. She stood facing me, the valley between us, radiant. The princess has been haunting me from across the ocean. And it goes on about the mountain of the princess. And it's a full loop because this is the end of the book, and it's alluding to the beginning of the book, because the first thing that she mentions in the beginning of the book is the princess, and now her story is, or the book is over, and she goes back to the princess. So it just gives the reader like the oh moment, like the, you know, it's like it's a full circle. So it just gives the reader, I don't know, like that oh moment, because, like, you know, it started with the princess and it's ending with the princess, because these are the last pages of it. And also, you know, the princess, the bright as ever, so it's more a personification of the mountain. So yeah, like, the main thing about this is it alludes to the beginning of the book, because it started like that and now it's ending like that. And yeah, and as a whole, the chapter was a lot of emotional pulls, since she had her breakdown and her family had no contact with her, and her family was calling her a demon and a devil. So this whole last chapter was really deep and emotional for her, as you can see what she's been through, her mental breakdown and everything, and that's all the time I had. Bye.